Welcome you all. I'm Dr.K.Nagamani, Assistant Professor of English, Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, SRMIST, Ramapuram campus. Today we shall see a small lecture on the twin topics paraphrasing and summarizing. Students have a confused idea about what is paraphrasing and what is summarizing. And to clear that doubt, here we have the presentation. First of all, let us see what is meant by paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means rewriting someone else's ideas in your own words. Here, the phrase your own words is very important because we are going to rewrite the original passage using our own vocabulary. It is considered as an alternate to quoting where we use other people's exact words. Academically considered, paraphrasing is more scholarly and better than quotation because it shows how much a person has understood the original passage. It is important to acknowledge the source every time we paraphrase. Whenever we take a reference, even though we use our own words to paraphrase it, it becomes necessary that we should acknowledge the original source. How to do paraphrasing? These are the steps involved in paraphrasing. We have to read the passage several times to completely understand its meaning, and the next step would be to note down the key points. After noting down the key points, we have to make our own version of the original text without being influenced by it. For this, we can make use of synonyms which have similar meaning like the original. Once we have done the paraphrasing, we have to compare the paraphrased content with the original passage and see whether there are changes needed. If there are changes needed, we can make the necessary modifications. And the final step would be to, as I said in the beginning, we have to acknowledge the original source, cite the source from where we have found the original idea. Let us see how to avoid plagiarism when we paraphrase. Whenever we tend to take some reference material, it becomes handy. We use the same ideas in the same words, but these are some tips which can be followed in order to avoid plagiarism while doing paraphrasing. We can start the first sentence at a different point from that of the original source. The original content may have a different idea as the first point of the paragraph. We may shuffle the ideas and we can bring it to some other point in the context. We can use synonyms. Synonyms are nothing but words that have the same meaning. So, seeing the original, we can replace those original words with the synonyms and restructure the sentences. We can make use of active to passive form or passive to active form. And another best way to be original is breaking the information into different sentences. If a paragraph is long and if the sentences are lengthy, we can break the information into smaller parts and we can arrange it in a different form. Let us see finally what is the major difference between paraphrasing and summarizing, which is actually a little bit confusing to the students. A paraphrase, we all know it is a rewriting of a specific passage we have taken from somewhere else. But when we do the paraphrasing, we are not omitting any point from the original source and we are using our own words to explain the idea. So, in that case, paraphrasing becomes lengthier than the original most of the time. When we try to elaborate or when we try to explain it in our own words, it may become more lengthy. It may not be as the same length as the original text. So obviously, most of the time it becomes a lengthier passage than the original passage. But when it comes to summarizing, we partially describe or we make it brief. Sometimes we omit supporting ideas which may end up in repetition. So we just remove that part alone from the original sentences, original paragraph, and we give our own version of it. So in that case, summarizing becomes more brief than the paraphrasing content. It is often shorter and it may omit certain ideas which may be a repetition or irrelevant content in the original paragraph. So, this is a basic difference between a paraphrase and a summary. I hope it is understood what is paraphrasing and what is summarizing, and what is the best method to paraphrase without being called as a plagiarist. Thank you. We will meet again in another lecture.